The Dateable podcast is an insider's look into modern dating that the Huffington Post calls one of the top 10 podcasts about love and sex. I'm your host, Yue Xu, former dating coach turned dating sociologist. You'll also hear from my co-host, Julie Krafchick. On each episode, we'll talk to real daters about everything, from sex parties to sex droughts, date fails to diaper fetishes, and first moves to first loves. We are excited you've joined us for an older episode. While our earlier seasons were all about dating in San Francisco, we quickly realized all the themes and learnings are universal for all daters. So we shifted to covering dating from all around the world as the seasons progress. The fun part is, things happen first in San Francisco, the tech epicenter and counterculture capital of the world. We love for you to keep tuning in to our older episodes, but there is no set order to listen in, so feel free to jump to more recent seasons or relevant episodes for you. Enjoy the show.
I was so excited to get my shipment from Last Bottle Wines in the mail the other day, full of incredible red wines, all from Napa Valley. I love wine tasting, so having this to my door couldn't be happier. Also, couldn't be more excited that today's episode is brought to you by Last Bottle Wines. If you don't know already, they're a Napa-based online wine shop with a twist. They offer just one handpicked wine per day until it sells out, and they're always at incredible prices. We're talking 30 to 70% off retail. And the best part is that there's no subscriptions, no fees, and no minimum purchase. And I could not be more excited to bring this offer right now because they're having a marathon sale, which is coming up March 28th and 29th. Even better, we're offering Dateable listeners 10% off your first order with code DATEABLE. So if you are a wine lover like me, this is a great time to join. And did I mention that shipping is 100% free? So what are you waiting for? Mark your calendar for March 28th and 29th, or get on it earlier if you want. You can sign up at lastbottlewines.com and use code DATEABLE and find out why Last Bottle is the most fun way to discover and buy amazing wine. As you know, I recently left my corporate job and I've been in total recovery mode, all about self-care. One of my new routines is the nighttime shower before bed. There's just something about washing away the day and that reflection that's been super helpful for me. I've been using one of our partners, Osea's Mega Moisture Duo. This combo body oil and body lotion are so freaking incredible. It literally feels like I'm at a spa. I realized that the secret is seaweed and other skin level ingredients that are normally reserved for face products. And that's why I was so excited when Osea became one of our partners. And, you know, we're so grateful for partners like this because one, they keep the show going, but they're also super good for all of our listeners and for our own well-being. So if you want to have that nighttime bliss like I am doing, you can get 10% off your first order site-wide with code DATEABLE at oseamalibu.com. You'll get free samples with every order and free shipping on orders over $60. So head to oseamalibu.com and use the code DATEABLE for 10% off. Let us know which products you end up going with. Share them in social. Super excited to see what you end up choosing.
This episode of Dateable is brought to you by 500 Brunches. 500 Brunches connects like-minded people with similar interests to meet in real life over brunch. You answer a quick questionnaire about your interests and how you spend your time, and then they'll match you in small groups of 6 to 8 at a brunch spot in San Francisco. Sign up at 500brunches.com and use the code DATEABLE for a free entry.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Dateable, a show that opens up a candid conversation about dating in San Francisco.
Michael Vargas, how is it out there in San Diego? Is it just sunny and nice all the time?
Basically, I mean, today it was like 75 degrees and it was windy, like a nice wind. And then the community that I live in, they were offering free ices.
What?
Yeah. It's a little bit of paradise, not gonna lie.
Just a little bit. All right, You can intro me now.
The woman who just demanded that I intro her is my demanding co-host and jealous co-host, Yue. And on each episode, we dissect a dating story. And today, I believe we have Mark. Mark, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. What's up? Thanks for having me.
Mark is a special one for us because Mark is Mr. Marina.
The biggest bro in San Francisco.
Biggest bro in San Francisco. If you're not familiar with what that means, is that every year there is a charity beauty pageant with men. It's called the Mr. Marina competition. You know, it's just like a beauty pageant. There's like a swimsuit competition, talent, Q&A, formal wear.
It's mostly about fundraising, first and foremost, for Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. But yeah, and then it turns into a man pageant at the end, and we all get half naked on stage.
So this year, I went for the first time, and my eyes were open to a whole new breed of men. So I'm very excited to have you representing that breed.
Good, I'll try and represent the 12 of us as well as possible.
So Mark, what was your talent?
My talent was actually a Justin Bieber dance montage. So really Bieber from, back in the days, the long swooshy hair, Baby, all the way to now, Sorry. So we did 4 songs, 4 costumes in the course of 2 minutes.
Wow, nice.
That's really impressive. So I have to tell you this because a few nights ago, I was having dinner with a girlfriend of mine, and I was telling her that we're going to have like a Marina Bros night for the podcast. And she was like, in my 4 years in San Francisco, I've never gone to the marina to hang out. I've gone to the marina to work out, to, get brunch, but never gone out in the marina. So she's like, what are they like? And she was so curious. She's like, what are they like?
It's not that much different. They're the same bros are hanging on the marina. They're hanging out on Polk Street or...
You guys are spreading. I mean, we have Rec Room here that's down the street, and that's basically Marina Bros. Yeah, it's the same thing. So I told her that, they're just like us. They're no different.
Real people, we still eat, drink, party, same things everyone else does.
Exactly. And she's just like, I just assumed that they only stuck to their own. But she wants to say hi, and she hopes to meet you guys one day.
Tell her to come to the marina. We'll show her that, it's still fun.
She'll bring her passport.
It's not as, it's not that much broier than the rest of San Francisco.
So, Mark, you have a few stories for us, yeah?
Yeah, 2 stories. So I'm going to tell the worst first date I've ever been on and the best first date I've ever been on.
How long have you been in San Francisco?
I've been in San Francisco for 5.5 years.
On with your dating stories. You're going to tell us the best date and the...
We'll start with the worst. So the worst date I went on was off of Tinder. So I haven't been on that many Tinder dates, probably a handful, but this was, probably a couple of years ago. And start off that this girl and I started chatting a little bit, and on Tinder you're usually chatting with, 5 or so different girls, maybe at the same time, that you're seeing where it's going and some kind of trail off, and you never know what everyone's situation is. Everyone's got a story that you don't know about, so some of them are probably dating someone else and they drop off. So you kind of have to see which ones are going to go anywhere. And this girl just suddenly asked me out. I'm like, okay, kind of aggressive. I usually don't get asked out by girls, but sure, I'll go for it. And she asked me out, and it's like a Sunday. I think she asked me out earlier in the day on Sunday and said, do you want to go out? I was like, okay, sure, let's just see where this goes.
Same day, ask out.
Yeah, ask me earlier in the day at noon or something like that. Do you want to go meet up tonight for a drink? I'm like, I have nothing going on, sure, with that. Let's do it. Just see where this goes. Sometimes, you're better off meeting in person. You can waste a lot of time just messaging.
Definitely.
So I think our date planned for 7 o'clock. And so we're going to meet actually at Rec Room was where the date was going to be.
Romantic.
Yeah. I walked by on the way here.
Was she like, do you want to go to Bar None or Rec Room? Were those your 2 options?
Play some games, maybe break it up a little bit. So date's at 7, and then right around 6:30, she's like, oh, can I push it back to 8? Okay, fine, whatever, no big deal. Then it starts getting closer to 8. Can we push it back to 8:30? I'm like, okay. And then I get a call from her. And she's like, I'm on the Golden Gate Bridge. I had to take this person back to Marin, but I'm on my way back. This kind of frantic story that I was it just sounded really weird. There was some girl who was drunk she had to take back. And then okay, so now it's 9. And we meet up, and I'm sitting there at Rec Room at 9, waiting. It's 9:14, and I'm texting her, hey, are you coming? I'm literally okay, this is it's been kind of ridiculous. I kind of feel like I've been pushed around. I need to do this. I wasn't super into this girl. I didn't really know her that well. And then she walks in the door right as I'm leaving, kind of a bit of a mess and a little bit drunk.
Oh my
clearly like 3 to 4 drinks in. Similar to other stories I've heard. She had used a lot of Instagram filters on her profile, so I was a little disappointed. And her pictures may have been from multiple years ago, and things that, she just didn't look the same exactly as she used to. So I was a little disappointed. So whatever, I'm already there. Might as well hang out with her. And so she did apologize right away for being late, and insisted on buying a drink, which I thought was very, very nice. So I'm like, okay, maybe she had a rough day or something happened. So that was very nice. She insisted on buying drink because she was late, and I was like, oh no, okay. She's like, no, please. And so we sit down and start talking, and she starts going through how stressful her day was, and then she realizes it's her little brother's birthday. And so she's on the phone texting him. She goes outside and is like calling him and like coming back and forth. I'm like, all right, so this really wasn't a good day for a date. And then she tells me how some guy who was from out of town was visiting her, and that's where she was having drinks earlier. So it didn't quite align with some of the stories and timelines. And it's like, why are you even trying? You were the one who wanted to meet up. But at this point, I'm like kind of like seeing this out, like, this is gonna be a really good story for my friends. Like, this is gonna be a good
for a dating podcast one day.
Okay, so well, we came there. We wanted to play darts. So I was like, let's go to shuffleboard. So we find 2 people that are like, who's out on a Sunday night at like 9:30? People who are like traveling, staying in a hostel. People who like don't have to go to work the next day. So there was like this girl from Japan and this guy from, I don't know, he's from like, and yeah, at this point I'm already kind of annoyed with this girl, and she's drunk and everything. But so we're on the same team, and we have to go to opposite ends to play shuffleboard. And I was trying to explain the rules to her, and we're playing, you have to shoot all 4. You alternate with the person you're playing against. And she would shoot one and go sit down on her phone and be texting and like calling her brother and like just like trying to make all these excuses to me, like, oh, I'm really, really sorry. Like, it's just his birthday. I feel bad. And like the foreigners who like had never played shuffle before started getting really annoyed with her. And so towards the end of the game, this girl who's from Japan, she's like leans in, she's like, are all American girls like this?
Oh my God.
And like a completely like honest question to me. And I just turned to her and go, I hope not. I freaking hope not. Like, if, I don't know, this is what's out there. Like, I got to move to another country. I don't know what I got to do. It was so bad. So eventually we just like called the game early. And I'm like, all right, well, let's just go home and make sure she gets home safe. She'd been drinking a little bit. And so we find out that she lives very close to Rec Room. That was maybe a reason she chose Rec Room. And so I started walking, and she's like, oh, come back with me. And I was like, let me just see that you get in your front door. And she gave me a very big hug. Like, come on. I'm like, no, it's a Sunday night. Like, I got to get to bed. Like, I mean, obviously wanted nothing to do with her at this point. Like, I thought she was, wanted to see her get home safe, but didn't want to, lost all interest. Yeah, so the next day she like texts me, hey, sorry if I was a little weird, I was a little tired. And sent it to me like once at like noon, and like sends it to me again at like 4 p.m. and again at like 5 p.m. Yeah, the exact, like as if it didn't go through. Like, oh, I got it. And I like finally eventually respond, like, oh, no worries, okay, it was nice to meet you, like, hope you're having a good Monday, or something like really generic and like not probing for any more conversation.
Right.
For me, one of the most annoying things that it frustrates the shit out of me, and I don't really know how to handle it all the time, is when people just disrespect my time. Like complete disrespect, disregard. And this girl, that's all she did during, like that was a big part of what she did, was first 7 and then pushing it back later and later and later. And then when she's there, she's not focusing on the date. She's not focusing on you.
I feel like she double booked.
Probably was, and left the other day.
Yeah.
She like I'm just gonna ask these 2 guys out tonight and see what happens.
She was getting wasted on this other date, lost track of time, went outside, called you and said, I'm on the Golden Gate Bridge.
Made some story.
Ridiculous. And came back and was like, oh shit, I got to get to this other date. And I bet the other date was probably right around the corner at like Hideout or something like that,
I feel like double booking is I don't know. It sounds like crap to me. Like, I'm going to book a date at 5 and know that at 8, I'm going to want to stop seeing this person. Yeah, I think that already disrespects their time, like the possibility of what can happen, and it completely takes away from what the relationship might be.
Yeah, I think you want to leave time for, I don't think you want to put an end limit on a date. Like,
you don't.
You want to, like, if you're having a great time, you want to be able to keep hanging out.
So how do you feel about girls who are a little bit shit-faced when they come on a date?
That's a little bit weird. Sometimes you kind of feel like you end up babysitting a little bit, or you're like, okay, I got to take some shots and catch up so we're on the same level.
Right. What about if you've been out with a new girl for a bit and she's getting drunk on a date, like started sober?
I think that's fine.
If you're on the same level,
Yeah,
you have to be on the same level.
Okay, go on to your best story.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're ready.
And so my best date story is a girl I'd met like through friends at like in a sports league. And we'd already like the first night we hung out was like through the league, and we kind of hung out quite a while that night. And I think I even kissed her that first night.
Wow.
And so like I went to this next date kind of knowing that like, okay, there's definitely some sexual chemistry there. She's cute. I definitely like her. I was really excited. I knew I was already attracted to her. And I think we met at Amelie, the little wine bar down here, on like a Thursday or Friday night. She was actually overseas. She was from Australia. And so she was over here like working a job for a little bit before she had to go back. And got a little wine and cheese platter. Conversation was really good. She was a lawyer going to be a lawyer back in Australia in a little bit, and just hit it off like conversation-wise. She was super sweet, charming, nice, and like had great conversation. They have good banter. It's not you just talking or vice versa. You're not like just quizzing each other on like what you do. Sometimes dates turn into like an interview, but when they can kind of like bounce off each other and have fun stories, it goes a little better versus like kind of these dry like, so what do you do for work? And you like give a one-sentence response and then back and forth.
So then?
We ended up, one thing led to another. I won't go too detailed here.
I always love how all our guests never say, yeah, we went home and fucked. It was always like,
Oh, why?
one thing went to another.
You can infer what you want. But the funny thing is, like, she like later talked about, like, told me we became boyfriend and girlfriend after this.
Oh, wow.
For like 7 months, and until she had to move back to Australia. It's always funny how she's like, I would never have done that with another guy. Like,
Right.
but I was on holiday, for Australia, and I was just, trying to have fun. If I knew you were gonna be my boyfriend for 7 months, I would never have done that. But I thought it was just kind of a fun night. Girls on holiday or vacation have a completely different mentality than girls in their like home city, like with their friends.
Absolutely true.
That actually is helpful feedback. The key phrase here is no expectations. When you're on vacay, it's like,
Pressure's off.
yeah, pressure's off. And when you don't have expectations, dates are always better for some reason. Because you're like, let's just see where the night goes.
That's why the interview is the worst day, because you're like mentally checking off the
Yeah,
boxes.
like there's
Yeah.
this, they're this. Like, could I?
Yep.
myself-
That's why I think for dates, it's better to just have it like in different spots, moving around and doing different things. Just like Mark said, like, okay, we got to sit down and have like a thing of wine, right? That's an experience. And then we're going to go do something else. That's another experience. It makes it more dynamic. Different elements of the personality come out, and it just makes it a lot more fresh.
I do think that even for me personally, it's good to put on the vacation hat when you're out on dates. Just treat San Francisco as a vacation and let the other person show you their San Francisco. So I want to ask you this, Mark. Why is this date so unique for you that you've brought it up as one of the best dates? Because when you put it on paper, like if you wrote a novel and this story came up, it'd be like, oh, that's just a very normal date.
It wasn't like, it didn't stand out. There weren't like fireworks at the end or like, some sort of crazy rescue story or anything. Yeah, I don't know. Like the connection was right there. Like immediately, like just had the most fun. Like jokes, laughing the entire day. I think that was the most important, that we had like a solid connection.
Sometimes I come from a date and I go, that was one of the best dates I've ever had. Does he feel the same way? And to hear kind of your take on what you thought was a good date, it was like in line with some of the memorable dates that I've had. And they don't have to be extravagant. They don't have to be elaborate. It's just about connection and showing each other who you are.
Yeah.
UA, do you have any takeaways from these stories?
I think my takeaway was I really like this whole vacation mindset. I'm going to start, dating like I'm on vacation.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mark?
Be respectful of people's time.
Yes.
For me, I think, Mark, you did a really good job of showcasing how Marina men don't have to be douchebags.
Marina Bros are dateable. That's what we learned.
Hopefully I represent the 12 of us well. We are 12 of the nicest guys in the 12 of the nicest.
I do agree.
the city.
You guys are very nice. I'm a supporter. I'm a bro lieber.
And it's fun.
Julie, do you have a question of the day?
So it came from John, and he said, I know this girl through a group of friends we've met, like in real life, like we're talking about. How do I make the transition, though, to more than friends? And will that ruin our friend group if I do so?
I think one of the first things to do is if you're hanging out as a group and you've hung out quite a few times as a group, then you got to start doing more individual stuff. So since you already know her a little bit, you can say something. What is something that you both like to do or want to experience, and just go do that.
I personally don't believe in keeping platonic friends. So if you have non-platonic feelings for a friend, pursue those feelings. And if they don't work out, then don't keep them as a friend. It's very black and white with me.
Wow.
I think, yeah.
Kind of like what Michael said, you can invite someone or smaller groups. And I think if a girl's, I don't know if it's a girl or a guy, but I think people usually give signs that they're into someone. Unless the person's really, really shy. And if there aren't those hints, then maybe they just want to be friends only. And I've seen times where people, someone put themselves out there and the group of friends, the other person wasn't into them, or maybe they did hook up for a while and then it was over, but it didn't always ruin the friend group. If you're both polite people, everyone can still be friends and people can move on. They're like, oh, okay, well that didn't work out. Every group of friends that's lived in San Francisco for more than 3-4 years, there's a lot of incest that's occurred within that group.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It's like Friends.
Yeah. Everyone who would use, there's a lot of history, and then someone new comes to the group, oh, we can't talk about all that. For at least a few months, we can't scare them off.
Right, exactly. Okay, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, so folks, don't forget to submit your stories, and you can always be anonymous. We like to protect the innocent. And I think you and my homegirls got 2 more words for you.
2 more words, a few more words. I want to thank Mr. Marina, Mark, for being here.
Thank you, Mr. Marina, Mark.
For any ladies who've never ventured out into the marina, who are curious about marina men, you can always reach out to Mark. He will be happy to transition you. And last but not least, stay dateable. You know what? Instead of trying to date within your own friend circle, how about you meet some new friends who could turn into something more? 500 Brunches is here to connect you with people with similar interests. You never know who you'll meet. Come alone or bring a friend. There's always a table full of friendly faces, mimosas, and eggs Benedict. In fact, that's how Michael, Julie, and I met. That's right, at a brunch. Sign up at 500brunches.com and use the code DATEABLE for a free entry. To connect with us, visit dateablepodcast.com.